tubies, it's Psychic Bob. Well, welcome to Wednesday. It's Wiccan Wednesday. And you know, I'm always checking the dumpsters. I got all the dumpsters out here. I don't know what's going on. Oh, there's a big dumpster. A lot of recycling going on. You know, our building does recycling. And that's a very Wiccan sort of thing, isn't it? Our Sun Lord is overhead shining down. There's a little bit of cloud cover, a little haze today. But hail the Sun Lord. You know, I'm looking around and everything is so beautiful and lush and green. It's truly Green Man energy. And look at this little tree. Do you remember this little tree that we saw shorn down in the spring? Not only is it in full bloom, it's got flowers as well. Just beautiful. Well, some of you have been writing to me and saying, Lord Ision, will you teach us more about Wicca and magic? And we're going to do that. Today I thought we would talk about one of the witch's classic tools, which I don't think I've done a video on, the Book of Shadows. But right now we're going to go have lunch, and then we'll talk about the Book of Shadows. And I'm going to show you some magical spells from my Book of Shadows and let you see how I set up my Book of Shadows. So come hang out with us. Our Sun Lord is shining down overhead. Hail to the Sun Lord. Hail. Whew. It's a hot day today, about 90 degrees. Oh, it feels good to get under this awning, this enclosure. Stay a little cooler out of the sun. But where else would Lord Ision be on a Wiccan Wednesday than at one of my favorite spaces? Shooters! That's right. There's our lucky star. Let's get some food. Come on. Oh, and there's nothing like a good cold iced Coke on a hot summer day. Cheers. Well, we've been talking about the Book of Shadows, and so I thought it would be nice to see what Scott Cunningham says about it. He's one of my favorite Wiccan authors. This is from Wicca, A Guide for the Solitary by Scott Cunningham. Now, I'm not being endorsed by Scott Cunningham's reps or by Llewellyn. So here's his chapter on tools, ritual tools in Wicca, and there's a section here on the Book of Shadows. Scott writes, the Book of Shadows is a Wiccan workbook containing invocations, ritual patterns, spells, runes, rules governing magic, and so on. Some books of shadows are passed from one Wiccan to another, usually upon initiation, but the vast majority of books of shadows today are composed by each individual Wiccan. There's a lot more we're going to talk about more later, but that's the truth. So, you know, when you're thinking about your Book of Shadows, you know, you don't have to have some magic book that's passed on to you. You can create your own. And I'll show you how I did my own Book of Shadows. I'll do that after lunch. Tubies, my lunch arrived. Look what I got. I got their pasta special today. It's pasta with andouille sausage and chicken and vegetables. Oh, so delish. Psychic Bob is loving it. Yum. Well, tubies, that was a great lunch at Shooters. There's our magic star. May the 5 ever be at your door. That's an old Wiccan blessing so that the pentagram guard and protect you. Ooh, looks like a storm might be coming in. So I think we're going to head on home. We're going to talk more about the Book of Shadows. So just hang with us. Behold, Lord Ision's mystical Book of Shadows. Well, tubies, I'm home, and let's talk about the Book of Shadows. As you can see, I have a rather large and weighty Book of Shadows. I've done my Book of Shadows in a 3-ring binder. As you can see, it's 3 rings. And here's the cover of it, Book of Shadows. Pardon the room, by the way, guys. This room is in renovation, so everything's scattered everywhere. It's a bit of a junky room. But I want to show you, I have this book sitting here, and I had its own stand that I created for it. And I just got this beautiful cloth. It's got paisleys and vines on it. And so, you know, depending on your size of your Book of Shadows, or if you want to honor it, you could have your own stand. And I have this. This is actually, I think it was a microwave stand, like a kitchen block stand. Anyways, I bought it, and I actually didn't buy it. I found it at the trash room, believe it or not. Somebody was throwing it out. It's a perfectly good stand, and I just put a cloth on it. And as you can see, it works perfectly for my Book of Shadows. And I put on it here, you can see some beautiful pewter candlesticks here. Let me just slide the book back. You can see I've got sitting here behind the book pewter candlesticks, and then a beautiful silver star. So that's how I decorate. So it's kind of like an altar to the Book of Shadows. And so anyways, my Book of Shadows is really quite massive. And you don't have to have one this big, but I've been collecting spell stuff for years. And so mine is kind of a mishmash, a little bit of everything, really. And like so, it opens up. Here's my book dedication, an ancient Book of Shadows blessing. Look at the beautiful artwork on these ritual pages. Just lovely. So here's a beautiful piece, a pledge to pagan spirituality. Here's the Witch's Creed. At the front of my book, it's more just kind of general information, philosophy, thoughts about Wicca and the craft. The Witch's Creed. But as you can see, it's quite a large book. Here's a beautiful piece. It's from Scott Cunningham. It was done into a ritual page, Before Time Was. And it talks about the creation of the universe through the love of the Lord and the Lady. Really lovely. You know, we got the Wheel of the Year here. There's so much in here. I'm not going to show it all to you, but just give you an idea of how I set it up. I'll just do a little flip through here. But, you know, we have magical timings for magic. We've got astrology. We've got charts about the moon, moon phases, moon magic. A little bit of everything. Back here, I'll show you some of the herbs. Hold on. When you make your Book of Shadows, make it personal to you. Have stuff in it that you love. So I love astrology, so I have a section here on planetary sigils. You know, here's about my sign, Aquarius. Isn't that wonderful? And then I have sections on all the planets and their correspondences and their use in rituals. So yeah, a lot of stuff here. And this is the astrology section. As you can see, there's Jupiter, you know, Mars, Moon, Mercury, Venus. All the planets have some pages here. My Book of Shadows has formula pages as well, like astrological incenses. It tells how to mix different incenses. You know, this is the Aquarius incense, the Pisces incense. We also have a section on you know, making bath salts, how to make bath oil recipes. Book of Shadows should be personal to you, things that you enjoy, you know. There's no one way to do it. Bath oil potions, isn't that wonderful? And here's some of my herbal stuff. Here's the herbs of the Sabbats page, and it talks about each of the Sabbats and the herbs you can use for ritual work. Here's a page on 9 healing herbs. Okay, isn't that wonderful? Now, this is an important page. You might want to invest in one of these if you don't have one, or make one, or buy one, but botanical substitutions. This is one that's very helpful. And it gives you the different names in which you can switch plants for, you know. So, so for example here, like, let's say that you need, clove, okay, and let's say you don't have clove, all right, you can substitute clove with, you know, nutmeg, you see. So there are different things that you can learn, and so you can work with herbs. Then I have a section on different plants and herbs, the angelica root, bay leaves. I love bay leaves. I use a lot of that. Here's a whole page about bay leaves and has pictures. You know, wherever you can in your Book of Shadows, try to get identifiers, especially if you work with herbs. Have pictures of the plants so you can learn what they look like, you see. Here's nutmeg. Okay. Here's one of my favorite herbs, star anise. You guys know I love it. It has a picture there. So it tells about the magical uses and the history behind the herb. So you see, there's a lot in my Book of Shadows. The Book of Shadow moves into deities as well. I have pages and prayers to gods and goddesses. So here's my page on the Green Man. You guys know I love Green Man. So, and then here's a page about the god of witchcraft. Here's another picture of the Green Man. Here's a page on the goddess. And I also, in my Book of Shadows, just put in pictures that I like. So this is I think this is some people say it's the goddess of the moon. Some say it's a priestess who's praying to the moon. Either way, it's very lunar-oriented, goddess-oriented. I love Goddess Isis, so I have a number of pictures of her. Remember, your Book of Shadows should be unique to you. No two Books of Shadows will ever actually be alike. There's the Goddess Isis. Here's my invocation to Pan. You know I love Pan, one of my gods. There's a picture of Pan. Make your Book of Shadows beautiful and creative. You know, make it. You don't have to spend a lot of money. You know, I just bought this binder at like a Office Depot shop, Home Depot or Office Depot. I think I paid like $6 for it. But and then what I do is, now you don't have to do this, but I would encourage you to think about it. Buy plastic page protectors. I'll show you those in a minute. And it'll protect your pages rather than putting holes in them. You know, you don't have to damage the pages, and they're protected. If you spill water or wax, your spell pages don't get ruined. Here's some invocations. Invocation to the goddess. You see, invocation to Bridget. Invocation to Thor. You guys know I love Thor. You know. So yeah, make your book unique to you. Make it something you love. Invocation to Freya. I love the beautiful decorative borders on the pages. I really like that. You know. I'm working on expanding my section on totems, and so I just started a new area in my book. Here's a prayer to the dragonfly, an invocation of the spirit of the dragonfly as a protector and totem. You can go into some magic here, you know. Oops. The 3 essentials of magic. Okay. Timing, feeling, and the phases of the moon. See, the 4 powers of the magus. And here's about rituals, okay. How to create sacred space. You know. Casting a circle, casting rituals. Here's a Hearthstone blessing. Remember, when you're making your Book of Shadows, you know, collect things that could be useful down the road. Like, for example, I don't actually have a fireplace in my house and a traditional hearth, but many times I get asked to do house blessings. So, you know what? I've got the Hearthstone blessing that I can use if I go to do a house blessing. So think about things that you might use in other circumstances. Here's another house blessing ritual. You see, here's an altar blessing. You see. So just, you know, take your time. Think about how you want to make your Book of Shadows. Here's my page on wands, the history of the wand and its significance in rituals and magic. Here's a beautiful page on wand blessing. Look at that. Isn't that elegant? You know, make your, as I said, make your Book of Shadows unique to you. Make a cover. You can hand draw this stuff. A lot of mine's computer printed, but, you know, a lot of people like to hand write their Book of Shadows. You can do that. I'm just kind of lazy. I don't like to hand write everything, you know, but I may hand write some stuff. Here's a how to charge and consecrate a scrying mirror. You see, that's a nice, powerful ritual. Here's another picture. You know, as I told you, I like to put art in my Book of Shadows. It's a magical chants. You see, there's all sort of stuff. Chant to Hecate. Here's one of my new spells, the Triple Circle Protection Chant. This is lovely. You do a visualization, you chant this. Spellbinder, how to seal your spells to make them go. You know, we've got protection spells to how to stop a liar, how to reveal the truth, how to stop gossip and slander. You know, spell to stop harassment. I need to revisit this one, especially as a targeted person. Yeah, that's a good spell. I've done so many of these spells and they really do work. Thank God. A spell for protection. See, isn't that lovely? So guys, there are all sort of ways to create your Book of Shadows. Here's how to cast a protective shield. You know, a lot of my spells I purchased from other witches who sell spells. You can go online on eBay and look up spell Book of Shadow pages and spells. A lot of people sell them now. You know, how to see the future or increase psychic ability, psychic energy, excuse me. See, there's no limit to what you can have in your Book of Shadows. Here's the shield spell. Here are some pages on the mystical pentagram. You know I love the pentagram. So you can learn about that and study it. There's so much stuff that I recommend that a witch really keep a Book of Shadows, because you won't remember it all, and it's good to have it written down, especially on those days when you are tired and you can't remember stuff. So you see, starting a Book of Shadows will give you a lot of magical help along the way. There's our Wheel of the Year again. And so, as I was saying, I would recommend for your spell pages that you get these plastic sheets. You can buy these. They're just called plastic page protectors. And get the ones that have perforations on the edge. That way you can put them in a binder. And you never have to tear up your sheets, putting holes in them. So as you can see, this got holes along the edge. I hope you guys can see some glare here. So it's made for 3-ring binders. But, this is one simple way to start your Book of Shadows. Don't spend a lot of money. Create your own. Go to your local office supply store. Get a 3-ring binder. You can make your own cover page to go in. And you'll have a wonderful little Book of Shadows. Well, Tubies, that's just a little glance at my Book of Shadows. We'll pull some spells out next week and do them out of the Book of Shadows. So I'll show you the use of the Book of Shadows and how it works in magic. So we'll continue this next Wednesday. But I just want to spend a few minutes with you today. I hope wherever you are, you're doing excellently. And I send my greetings, my blessings, and my love to you. Now make sure wherever you are to help me out, please like this video, favorite it, share with your friends, and hit subscribe. Oh, and don't forget, go over to my website, link will be below, and go subscribe to my, go register for my psychic development class. We're going to have classes Saturday, from Saturday at 12 to 2, from 12 p.m. Eastern to 2 p.m. on Zoom. The class cost is only $30. It's 2 hours of psychic development with me live in a classroom with you on Zoom. So I'd love to work with you guys. Go register today, okay? PsychicBob.com, link below. You guys rock. Well, Tubies, tell me about your Book of Shadows. I want to hear, do you have a Book of Shadows? What's yours like? Do you have a special stand for it? Do you do anything special for your book? Let me know your thoughts on the Book of Shadows. May all of you always blessed be.